ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
You wanna get nuts? Come on!
Welcome to the Outlaw Blitz interviews.
Get about the curve already. Give him a heater.
You can't handle the truth.
All right, everybody, it's showtime.
Take your position.
And G-Mac and Winnie are back with our first interview of 2021.
We have a rat problem.
We do have a rat problem. Stephen Pearcy will be joining us live from, I imagine, LA today.
Yeah, he is a West Coast guy, just like Eric was, Ferrantino's.
Right. And a Stephen Pearcy band Arcade, and then RATT, of course.
Yep.
The huge song Round and Round. I think our focus is kind of, you go through a million of these things and it's probably the same questions over and over. What happened from 2020, the pandemic, on?
Yeah, and anything I've seen, read, or heard seems like a really positive and forward-thinking guy,
right,
who's looking to just continue to make music and entertain the masses. If you like it, cool. But if not, he's good with that too.
Right. He's an artist.
He is an artist.
Right. He's
Absolutely.
an artist, and that's what he's looking to do, and that's what he's looking to keep achieving. And I imagine, hey, it was fun. Okay, today Tom Brady's playing today. Does he keep wanting to talk about when he beat the Rams, his first Super Bowl, or does he want to win another one today?
Or is there a side of Tom Brady, something that nobody's ever asked him about, that he would love to talk about?
Right. That's what.
I think we've always prided ourselves on not being the cookie cutter interview, and bringing something out of somebody that we haven't heard before.
Right.
And I have a feeling he's that type of guy.
Well, and he seems like he's our kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's down to earth. He's easy to talk to. I mean, he likes fast cars and hot women. It fits right in us.
It's not bad.
And then his newer stuff bangs.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? So it's we're going to be pulling him in, and on the other side of the song here, we'll bring him in and we'll see what he's got to say.
Stephen Pearcy.
And we are live with rock legend Stephen Pearcy.
Stephen, good afternoon. How's it going?
How's it going?
Absolutely awesome. Cold on the East Coast. How's things out by you?
It rains, it's hot, it's cold, it's stupid. It's pretty much a later.
A mixed bag.
Yeah, LA's stupid. They can't give me shit for that. I've said it before.
So what do you find yourself doing today on a Sunday afternoon?
I don't. As strange as it is, we've been so busy working on a show and Top Fuel and my company and stuff and music and this legacy record I got. I have my 6th solo record in the can. I got to get in the studio and start that. A lot of stuff going on, but keeping busy. Every day is the same to me. I have a setup upstairs, downstairs, film, record, do whatever, and that's what I'll do today. Again.
Now, are you guys still locked down out there on the West Coast?
Is that what they call it?
I don't know.
That's what they try to call it.
Yeah.
Prisoners?
I know.
Prisoners? No, you know what? Yeah, I guess so. You know, I mean, everybody's heading towards Texas or somewhere else now. You know, LA's goofy anyway. You know, a lot of people are bailing now. Yeah.
Now, that I mean, obviously that impacted your ability to make money during the process. Like last year with RATT, you guys had a tour planned, or you were out on the road a little bit, and then COVID hit, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and the last show was March 2020. Yeah. And we were gearing up to go out for the Big Rock summer gig. You know, they say they might fire up some dates this summer, but I'm not holding my breath, you know. So we'll see what happens. But it hasn't affected, you know, what it has done is take away the live performance income for entertainers, you know, rock bands, traveling circuses, whatever, you know, that's all it's done. I mean, I have other things I do and they're still music related, except, and also racing related, you know, that's another big part of, what I do too, you know, and this has really affected racing too. So there goes, you know, taking care of that business, but you know, we'll sit it out. We'll wait and see. Doesn't stop me. I keep moving. I keep working, writing. RATT's pretty much on a definite hiatus until, you know, there's this, okay, Motley can go out. Okay, RATT can go out. Okay, Stones can go out. I mean, I don't know. You know, everybody's doing these, everybody's finding a way to do their thing.
When we had Eric on, we were talking about doing a lot of work on your next solo album and the COVID tapes. And this hasn't slowed you down as far as studio work. You've got a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, no. I mean, look, we do stuff for fun. I mean, look, we're getting ready to release a song, a cover song. And I'm probably telling you first, that's going to blow people's minds. And we do stuff like that just to do it, just because we can. If I like a song and, hey, let's kick that out and see what happens and just throw it out there for, you know, don't charge anybody. Nobody has to buy it. Just listen to what we're doing, man. It's fun, you know. People don't do that shit anymore. We do, you know.
And the one thing I've taken and, you know, prepping to talk with you today is you are very forward thinking and very moving ahead as far as let's keep doing what we enjoy. If you love putting out the music and the fans love hearing it, then everybody's winning.
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, look, everybody thinks, you know, including, and I'll be straight up, my own bass player in RATT, who owns a studio, is reluctant to write RATT songs and go in and record. And, you know, it kind of pisses me off. So I do it anyway. I write RATT songs anyway since day one. So it doesn't stop me from writing RATT songs, putting them in the vault. And, you know, we have plenty of unreleased RATT songs I'm trying to put out. But we're busy. And when I have a guy like Eric, you know, who's been with me for years, he knows we have a certain schematic that we work with when writing solo material, or I just throw something at him like, look, we're going to do this song because I want to do it. Let's go have fun with it. Everything's pro. Everything's, you know, a go. There's no hesitant. Like, I don't know. Do I got to wear two masks? You know, you want me to stay in the car? I mean, look, Eric can sing backups at his house laying in bed right now, and it'll sound amazing, and nobody would know the difference. I mean, that's where it's at, technology, you know. But me, I like to go in the studio. I get the best out of me. So what I did is last week I went in the studio where we always record for the last 15 years, and our bass player drives that thing in the solo band, Matt Thorne. And we go cut it, and I laid down vocals, and it's great. And when people hear it, they're going to get a kick out of it. And that's all we want. You know, it's, you know, the business is coming soon. You know, I'm working on this, pretty much a show, and I can't really say too much. I'd love to, but it's called Backstage Past. And if you go to my website, officialstephenpearcy.com, there's some tags out there of what's to come. And I had my guys in here the other day, and, you know, we were filming, streaming. I mean, we're going to do our own shows, you know, and take it from there.
Now, by any chance, did you happen to have Bear or Sir Charles II in the studio with you?
Always. It's funny because if I'm in the upstairs studio, he'll go in there and lay down, right? And just sit there and go, "It's a weird sound." And the cats don't care. But if there's people here, he wants to be involved. So we got to kind of get him out there. Yeah. I've actually put one of my dogs bark on record, by the way.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny for anybody who hasn't been. Check out Stephen's Facebook page. You've got some good little short clips of Bear on there, looking pretty vicious, but also looks awesome.
That guy's a beast. He's going to get bigger. We're going to take him to see his buddy up north. It's about another dog like him, but bigger. It's like a baby horse.
Jesus.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now,
So,
yeah. Oh, go ahead, boss.
The Legacy record. Is there a timetable on that?
It's pretty much. I gave it to my manager yesterday to listen to, and I've been working on it for a bit. It's just compiling songs from my since day one, you know, which is the premise of Backstage Past. That's a PAST, which is going to be airing on Aside TV, ASY TV. We're partnering up with them and as a network, and it's going to be pretty interesting. So, you know, keep a tune on that.
Absolutely.
Now, back in the day, Headbangers Ball was a huge influence on MTV. How much did that help you, you know, at the time when that, you know, to help promote your brand, you know, your form of music?
Yeah. Well, first, they weren't involved in helping us at all because, I mean, we've made guest appearances on Headbangers, but it was when MTV first came out. Right. I remember it was like 81, 82 when I first saw these video things. Wait, I have to backtrack here. It wasn't Headbangers Ball. It was just MTV, period. They needed content. So in 1983, the heavy metal explosion, you know, people had these reels, you know, they weren't called videos, but they were just reels and whatever. And then people started going, let's make videos. Okay. Content. So here we go. We were like, you know, kind of the first, you know, not the first, but one of the batch dozen or so that were put on MTV in the early days. I mean, it was brilliant. I mean, you had, you know, all of a sudden you had to become an actor. That's all great, but it's tongue-in-cheek fun. But Headbangers came later, and it was a good thing. You know, I liked Unplugged. When we did Unplugged RATT, that was a really cool gig because that's pretty much what I'm doing with Backstage Past and the performances we do here, which we'll be presenting. So we're excited. It's like a 360, so to speak. If you're talking about MTV, there is no MTV.
Right.
You know what I mean? They give you a couple hours rock block.
Yeah,
something's got to happen. Put it this way: Daryl's house ain't going to cover the bands of my genre who like the music we like.
Yeah, you know? that was kind of where
Daryl. I don't put it this way. I don't see Daryl having like you know, Halford on there, Priest or something.
Yeah, that was kind of where my question was headed. Is the world ready for a new version of Headbangers Ball? Like, you know,
the world's ready for something. Yeah, right. I'll be way ahead of you. Most definitely. I don't think Headbangers Ball is the answer, but I think a certain format is going to be, you know, put out there. I mean, everything is so wide open now. That's why we're doing what we're doing. We'll create our own show.
Right.
That's what we'll do. I've been doing this for 40 something all my life. I started playing when I was 14, 15. This is what I do. Besides a racing fanatic, drag racing fanatic, and all around freak, I play guitar, I write, and I sing for bands, So it's all good. Yeah, but I agree with you. Yeah, something's got to happen here, man.
Yeah. So speaking of drag racing, I think I watched an interview while we were leading up to this to our interview with you, where you were a pit crew when you were younger on a drag team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Walt Rhodes was a neighbor of mine when I moved to Westchester in Los Angeles. And I was just tripping around, and I've gone to drag races and this and that, and I've seen the cars, and all of a sudden there's this race car in this guy's driveway. Well, me, I drive up on my bike, and hey, I go to races. The guy's like, hey, well, I race. Well, so what? So like I'm some pesky kid, but I kept coming around. Eventually he's like, look, you're going to keep coming around. We're going to put you to work. I went, great. So here we are at the racetracks. I'm dumping the oil, shining the car, pouring the bleach, chasing around this, doing that every weekend. Irwindale, Lyons, Orange County, Bakersfield, Sandy. So that's what I did. That's what I wanted to do. And years later, I moved to San Diego. I'm on my way back with Walt Rhodes from Indianapolis, from the Indy Nationals in '71. So we're on my way back, and my mom's, hey, we moved. We don't live there anymore, near Walt. So you're going to live in San Diego. So have them drop you off when you come back from racing. So they did. Well, then, hence, here I am in San Diego all of a sudden going, well, shit. So anyway, I make friends, a little of this, little of that, and I get in an accident. All right. Then you'd have to read the book, Sex, Drugs, and Rat and Roll, because it's a interesting read, and a lot of it's on drag racing, because it just got me back into drag racing. First, I got into music, and even Walt came and visited me in the hospital and said, the doctors told me you're never going to drive a car, so don't even think about it. If you crash, your legs would shatter, even if you were older. And I'm going to, so I took that. So anyway, here I have this music all of a sudden. So I get into music, but I never got out of drag racing. So hence the band, becomes popular, and there's I have some resource. So I go drag racing. And that's what I did. I started getting into it again in the mid-'80s with Dale Poldy, War Eagle funny car. And I sponsored that for a few races one year, in 86, 7. And then I just continue to this day, market with these drag guys, friends of mine. And there've been a bunch. I mean, I love these guys. It's such a family, cool environment, Me and my girl go out there and hang. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. The thing I miss about drag racing is like when you had Don the Snake Pardone versus Tom the Mongoose McEwen. They always had that, like, it was like bigger than life personalities with the snake on the car, the mongoose on the car. That was a big draw to it back in the day.
Hey, and don't forget Don Garlett's a swamp rat.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's got swamp rat fucking 98 by now, but I go by his place all the time when we're in Gainesville, and it's a really important part of my life still. All these guys who, James, Dave, Scusa, to Jeff Deal, to a lot of these guys have helped me out and put RATT on their car, and it's such a cool sport, and we're uptight too, because I just found out the other day that Vegas is canceled, Pomona's not happening, so we're already bumming out,
Yeah, I tell you, this whatever pandemic has really killed certain avenues, like you said, performers, auto racing, if you have big TV deals, it can cover, but for other, drag doesn't have, you kind of rely on the ticket to get in to pay. So, to pay your drivers.
What was interesting is last year, what they ended up doing is Billy Meyer, who used to be a funny car driver in the 70s, he owns the Texas Motorplex there in Texas. Well, Texas is open.
Right.
My kid lives there. And what they did last year is they held 4 nationals at his track. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't packed, but there were people there, and it was like almost back to norm. So maybe they're going to do something like that. It would be cool. I mean, look, I'm introducing that to my agent. Hey, look, Texas is open. Let's go tour Texas. I mean, ZZ Top started out that way. Come on.
Right. Yeah. This is one of our interviews not long ago was a kid that was on The Voice from our hometown, and he lived in Florida. So they had tour dates in Florida and Texas because they're open. In open states, that's the only place he can perform and make himself money.
Yeah. So, I mean, there you go. If you need to perform, it's not like you go out there anymore to tour to support a record. But you see, my work ethics and stuff has never changed. I make records, I go out, and you have to kind of promote it one way or another. Somebody's not spending that kind of money. And if it's my own money, I'm going to do the same thing. We got to get out there and do something. So it's a drag. But I'm really thinking about Texas and hitting these places and saying, hey, people, if you don't mind driving, we'll be here. Or maybe the festival will fire up in Texas and you'll see a few RATT shows before they shut that down.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'll be doing solo shows, making myself available, and about as good as going to get. Get my records out. Eric's, busy doing guitar stuff for the label, and Top Fuel Records, go figure. Everything involved in my life is Top Fuel.
That's awesome.
Sense of drag racing, and it's there's a 360 happening, and I hope it comes around. And hey, what comes around goes around.
Now, a lot of new sources of revenue coming through. How's Cameo working out for you?
Excuse me?
Cameo? Have you gotten many bookings on Cameo?
Oh God, yeah. I just started that, and I'm telling everybody else to do it. I mean, I have a great time doing mine. I play guitar. I mean, I'm in my studio when I do mine, so you might hear part of You Think You're Tough or Back for More, or some kind of noodling. So, but yeah, that's insane. I'm not doing it to make a killing here. I'm just making my shit visible, and having a good time. Yeah, Cameo is a great thing.
Yeah, it's wild because it really allows you to have one-on-one interaction with your fans that, listen, everybody's, like you said, we're screwed, we're home, we're stuck, but you can still get out there and reach people, and it's great.
It is. It's birthdays, anniversaries, this and that, and we've got some great things up our sleeve here. Top Fuel Records is going to be presenting. One is going to be this Backstage Past show with other musicians jamming. I mean, it's going to be a crazy thing. We'll be introducing that soon enough. So hopefully we can fill in that void of, what happened to Headbangers Ball. I don't know. They're unplugged now. They're right here.
That's it.
Now, just touching back to your early days with Walt Rhodes, was that relationship kind of yours with Walt Rhodes? Did that kind of mimic your relationship with Eric? Like how you kind of fostered him along? Because in his interview with us, he was very, very thankful for how you brought him up as a protege and helped him along. And
well, yeah, Walt, definitely. I mean, look, I didn't have a dad, right? So he kind of, hey, he was a cool guy. And, he drove John Peters' freight train, that double engine gas Chrysler, the badass freight train. He drove the big boy, the Chryslers, not the Chevys. And then he had this younger guy, is why I wanted to get into it, because this kid, Roger Rowe, wasn't much younger, and he was driving the top fuel front engine car. So we went to Indy. We were doing 2 races. Walt was doing that and whatever. But definitely he, he taught me a lot, shit. Drag racing is a very, you got to think out the box. You know what I mean? Especially back then. You had to be clever in the 70s. It was the real shit, not like now. Look, my best friend's Tony Schumacher and Caps, and I see how they travel, and I see what I've been through it. I've been in the sports in the 60s. I used to go to drags. It's come a long way. With Walt, man, I had to learn a lesson. Where we sleeping, Walt? Under the trailer in the sleeping bag.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, so you appreciate some things. And then, I went and did my career and we lost touch. And then he started drag racing again with the rear engine cars came out. He got in a bad wreck and just kind of called it, but he's still, I totally admire that guy. He really did teach me a bit and work at, how to, if you want to do something, here's what you're doing and do it. It doesn't matter what the left or right says. It's what you do. And Eric, Eric is, I got to tell you, he's just one talented guy. I mean, I could just think something and he's already writing it. And then again, we could be in the studio recording a solo record or a song, and I'll stop right there and go, what is that riff you just played? Take that off. We're going to record that now. And we do it. There's no like, oh man, it sucks. Fucking Stephen. It's like, this is great, Right. So we have a real tight organization here, including, like we call Miss Truth of Dare, my girl who takes care of a lot of this other business. So it's a machine that's been developing, and Eric's right in there. He's way involved,
Now, would you say that your solo band is where you go for peace? Like you said, Eric, there's no anger or infighting or anything like that. Everybody's just good, right?
Yeah.
Is that
brilliant?
So that's your peace.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how such a successful band can be so dysfunctional. But you know what? It happens to the best of us. Motley, our buddies, man. I've seen their whole trip since day one, and GNR, you name it. We're not the most dysfunctional, man. But you know what? It's almost like when you're successful, you got to have a really bad thing happen. We lost our guitar player. You got to have all this dysfunction. And hey, look, I started the band. I just wrote songs, and that's all I do and continue to do these days for RATT. And it's just a different beast. But with my solo thing, it's turned into a business, outside of just me going out and singing RATT songs or solo songs or, it's not even about making a buck at all. It's like, what else is there in this business? It's been said, it's been done. Something's got to change. Something's got to happen. And then during this COVID is why, what gets us charged up, because they're telling us we can't do anything. When I'm sitting here filming us live, my manager and it's great. I mean, it's like, who says you can't do what you're supposed to be doing? I want to tell them that if I can say this, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's forcing you. It's like, shit, get off the pot. We're either going to do something and we're going to reinvent. We're going to do something brand new, or you can choose to stay stagnant. You are not the guy that's going to choose to stay stagnant.
Exactly. It's like lead follower, get the fuck out of the way.
Right.
That's my motto.
And it kind of goes full circle to your early drag racing days, which you just alluded to, that listen, you have to find a way, right? You really have to dig and find another way. Like all these other options have been done. How do we go faster now? How do we reinvent? How do we become the next big thing, or the next thing?
I can dig it, and you're not reinventing the wheel, so to speak. I mean, look, this is what's trippy about drag racing. My correlation with drag racing and rock and roll. It's really kind of relative. Look, back in the 70s, you didn't have spare parts, right? If you want to race and your car is like beat up, you got a buddy to help you, or you figure it out. Nowadays, I got 5 brand new blocks in the trailer over there. Just go grab one, and the body blew up. I just throw the other one on. Back then, it was Scotch tape and Elmer's glue. You know, so I see the correlation with what I do in music. I mean, look, been there and done it, and I appreciate it. I love I hate to call them fans. They're friends, Right. I meet these people. I see them every year, man. It's like, what the fuck? We used to see these people from Japan so much in the 80s during the arena shows. We finally gave them all access pass. Just help yourself.
That's awesome.
You again,
Yeah.
Right on here. You're part of the family.
Come on in. Now, the first book was a success. Are you planning on writing a second one at any point?
Excuse me?
I said your first book was a good success. Is there any plans for a second one down the line?
Yes, there is, and it's all in correlation with Backstage Past and the Legacy record. The Legacy record was brought to me. I'm surprised I didn't think of it. I've had a couple best ofs out there of my career, but this is something totally different. It's a visual and music trip I'm taking you through. But that book, it just covered the nonsense. You know what I mean? A little bit. I spared so much stuff you wouldn't believe. I mean, they wouldn't. Simon Schuster wouldn't let me talk about some stuff. They wouldn't let me name names.
Yep.
They wanted me to pay for color photos. It's like, look, the next one's not going to be through you, and I'm going to be more. I want to get more into the life of the business and the music, and there's a lot more than the first book, Sex, Drugs, and Rat and Roll. It's a business. That's our old manager used to say. Why do you think they call it show business?
Right.
It's a business. You want to hang out, you better learn it.
And in this day and age, I think people really want. They'd like to see that curtain pulled back a bit and see the man behind the legend. What really makes Stephen Pearcy tick? What is he into?
That's it, dude. You hit it right on the head. Right on the head. And it's not just me. I'm going to be doing it for other artists. Look, man, put it this way. I said it to somebody the other day, maybe my band, when they were here filming. I said, you know what? A lot of us of that era, and even my girl, I'm going, this shit's like 40 years plus old already. A lot of these guys aren't around. Some of my best friends aren't around. My guitar player, my right-hand man, and then Ed drops this. I mean, my friends, it's time to start giving somebody some kudos, you know what I mean? And say, hey, man, what are you up to these days? Zach Wild, come on down. He'd be over here in a second, or come on down, Rudy, bass player from Quiet Riot. I want to give other people their bit too. It's not just for me. I'm just introducing a whole new medium, if possible. For what they consider hair metal, classic rock. I like classic rock better.
Yeah.
We've been around 40 years, man, and people are dropping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, unfortunately, like this year, you lost a good friend in Eddie Van Halen. Yeah. And like you said, everybody, 40 years is a long time. And it's one of those things, every day from here on out is not promised. So you got to make the most of it.
Right. It's like if you're all... go ahead. I'm sorry.
Man, you got it. And then you got COVID. What's next?
Yeah.
Right. This is 2020,
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like when you and all your buddies are sitting around at the bar and then you realize, hey, there's not too many of us left. We better get together and put out all of our best spots.
You got it. And that's what I want to do. It's like kind of like, reintroduce these people who are so important to that genre. Like, hey, Vince, really tell them what it's like. I was there, dude. You can't bullshit me. That's how straight up this is going to be. It's going to be fun. You know, I can call them out. You know,
Right.
been there, done it with many of these people. But, you know, yeah, I mean, there's going to be another book. I've got stories of Ed, you know. I mean, I used to go to his house and watch him build guitars. And back in 1970, late 76 or 77, sit on the stage with the whiskey. I got plenty more stories, you know. So I'll let him out next book, you know, get more real. I want to talk about music and other things. The party stuff is, yeah, I survived it, thank God.
Yeah. You want to?
I didn't even get herpes.
Yeah, man, you got to peel back those layers and show people exactly, you know, what it was like, and like you said, pay tribute to for the last 40 years of rock and roll and everybody who's gone out and, you know, laid it on the line and put it all out there for us to enjoy.
Yeah, and you know what? In our genre, so to speak, call it the 80s, call it whatever you want, it was an insane period because anything went. RATT, REM, we'd do shows with REM. I mean, Huey Lewis, Madonna, Motley, Priest, Zeppelin. It was something that'll never, ever happen again. So why not give it a kick in the ass and say, hey, man, while some of these people are around, hey, check it out.
Hell yeah.
You should be talking. Somebody should be hearing your story, you know? Not sitting there bullshitting about what could have, would have, should have. You know, tell the real deal, man.
Yep.
People like that shit.
And it's a good time for it too, because the kids of the 80s now have kids that are teenagers and they're trying to tell them like this, you know, hey, you know, if you come out and show on your show, you know, that new TV or whatever show you're doing, hey, this was my youth. Yeah. Backstage Past. This was my youth. And then maybe that helps bring the new, you know, the genre back around.
Do you know how many of these are fans, are friends, kids are at our shows and they're like taller than their parents and they're like, what, 20, 19? It's crazy. I love your band. You know, my daughter, she'd be like, how are people finding out you're my dad? I'm like, well, first you got my last name. Second of all, you know, you're taking photos of bands all around the country. I mean, go figure it out. You know, people want to know about the RATTs and the Motleys and the Priests and this band, that band. Like I say, it's been 40 years and it's not reminiscing at all. It's being real about going, hey man, look, you want to hear that song you heard back then? Here we go, fire that. Boom. Tell us a little bit about that. All right. You know, it's all good, man. We're keeping busy. It's not, I don't think about this. The only time I think about this COVID crap is when I have to put on a mask and I forget everywhere I go. You know?
Yeah, that's known to happen. So
I show up and they go, I should put it this way. The other day I went out and I just walked to this place and they looked at me like I'm a freak anyway, like they always do. But they look at me and I'm like, what? And they go, you can't come in here without a mask. I'm like, gosh, shit.
Are you still dressing like a cement pirate then?
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, you got to check it out. We've there's a couple. If you go to official StephenPearcy.com, there's some good information on what we're doing with, and Eric and I will eventually get in the studio. I'm hoping in about 2 months to start work on the solo record. And there's one thing about us: we are proficient and quick, and we don't waste time. And that's something I learned from Bo Hill, who produced many of our RATT records. He taught me something about keeping your shit together, because I used to have fun in the studio. Don't get me wrong, man. There's stories I don't remember, but I'd get the job done. And I still talk to him to this day. He's produced one of my songs, and what he taught me is, hey, you got a work ethic, you know, bop, bop. I don't care what shape you're in. And we're all straight up sober dudes, so it doesn't matter. But it's like, we get in here and work. We're working. We're having fun. But it's like, all right, we're done. Next, over here. Next, do this. And it's a beautiful thing. End of the day, we kick back and go, thanks, guys. We got it done. You know? Cool. nobody can say that we couldn't do it,
Right.
Because that's all I'm hearing. You can't record. You can't do this. You can't go in the studio. You can't. It's like, God, shut the fuck up already, right?
And it's like mediums like this, podcasting. We're doing it from our house. You're at your house, and we're getting fresh stuff out there. So if there's a will, there's a way. It's going to be done.
Yeah. Next time, let's do one of those things where we can like make faces at each other.
Oh, hell yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But plug your social medias. What do you have going on out there?
I'll tell you what. I'll do better.
Okay.
I'll do better. Set up another interview, and I'll have Eric over here at the house studio place, and we'll fucking play a song for you.
Absolutely.
That is awesome.
Absolutely.
With Backstage Past, if you start bringing in other bands, do you think maybe you could do a new refrigerator with all the signatures on it? Because
dude,
do you happen to have a picture of that? Because that is the most legendary refrigerator ever.
You know what, Matt? A lot of people get that out of the book. They get that. They remember that. And I tell you, I kick myself in the ass to this day when people bring that up, because it was insane. Inside, outside, anybody you could think of, Dio, Blackie Lawless, Motley's, you name it, it's crazy. Yeah, I should get a fridge in here. Yeah, you're right. But we'll probably be moving in a studio, so I'll make sure there's an old funky 80s fridge in there.
That's a whole line of merch revenue waiting to happen.
Now, is there a picture of the old fridge anywhere? Do you think there could be one unearthed?
You know what? And if there was, I would have it, because I'm about to, we're doing other stuff. I mean, we're crazy over here. It's like a machine, I mean, from a book to photos to coffee table, this, we're doing, but there's so many photos that we're leaking out. That's what Backstage Past is. Also, we're leaking out these photos of my past that you'll never see. But I'm not giving them all to you, so there probably is. There's probably a photo. I'd have to really dig, because I'm finding some interesting stuff from like when I first really started playing guitar. I was like, I thought I was 16. I look in the back of a picture. It says, you were 14. Okay, great. That's when I busted up my legs, I guess. So.
Now, has Eric ever told you the story about when he hit your wall with a lawnmower?
He might know, but he has a good story. I think I told it in the book. He used to come. He was my neighbor, right? He told you the story. Yeah. and he'd he'd be like, I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? Whatever. We became friends, music, this, that. All right. I'm like, hey, well, if you want to take care of my yard, it's like, oh, whatever. Come on, help yourself, smoke pot, whatever. And then he'd go back there and he'd see like my girl like naked. And he'd go, dude, your girl's naked out there. And I go, so what? Just do your shit. She doesn't give a shit,
Yeah, his recollection was you were lucky to have some shrubbery, because he almost took it all down with the mower.
Yeah. It was crazy how we met. And you know what? He ends up in the band, and, he would be the perfect rhythm guitar player if RATT fires back up. I'll definitely throw his ass in there.
Beautiful.
Now, we heard your interview just on Sirius XM on Friday. And you said if you're doing anything RATT, you're doing it the right way with the original people, because you're just done fucking around. There's no reason to do that anymore unless you're doing it the right way. Is that correct?
100%. 100%. And you know what? It's like, it's not even let bygones be bygones. Again, that's that business sense going, why do you want to fuck with people, your audience?
Right.
We put out a great record, our last record, Infestation, over 10 years ago. Well, that was mostly me and Warren writing the songs. So you really only had two parts of 5 guys, or the 4 main writers in RATT. Bobby would co-write some stuff now and then. But that wasn't, to me, it was a great record. I mean, the 2 singles were written by me and Carlos Cavazzo, not even me and Warren. So that kind of bummed me out. And I liked the record, but it's not RATT, you know. If first of all, it's not a RATT record because Robin's not on it.
Yeah.
So you take what you can get. Robin and I wrote all the first RATT songs. I wrote the first one. The EP are all my tunes except for Tough. So, you know, I don't know, you know, I just don't think I think you'd be cheating your audience, cheating them. You know, they've got a few best of records out there I know people are buying them because they're platinum and gold and shit. So, you know, that's all they get. That's what they want. They want the hits. They want the classic shit. You're not going to give them anything new worth of shit. Don't even bother, you know? And that's how I feel. And so I didn't mean to open the door. I mean, I still have business with these two guys, you know. Right. That's just the way it is. We'll forever have business, you know, forever. Now, the records are too big.
Right. You know? Now, does and if I'm over the line, just please tell me. Now, does everybody that was in the original band, is that how the royalties work? Like, because I know like your songs have been in movies and stuff like that. So yeah, everybody's making the money off like so. Now in COVID, you guys couldn't go out and tour. Or you had a tour planned and then stop. But like, do you still get like royalty checks from stuff that was in movies or your Geico commercial or stuff like that? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. There's still income streams. You know, I kind of not talk about that kind of business because it's so different. A lot of it is suffered, actually, because if you can't get out there, people don't know, oh, yeah, they're there. I like that RATT song. I like that Motley tune. You know what I mean? So you do lose some sales and all that. But, you know, I have other records out there. I do whatever, you know, I do what I do. You know, I don't look at it that way. But, yeah, there's income stream, definitely. If you've sold as many records, of course. You know, that's why we still have business. We'll always have business. Even our, you know, 40, 50 years from now, somebody's going to be dealing with our business, you know?
Right.
Yeah. We were the lucky ones, one of the lucky ones. You know, you have a hit, you should kiss the fucking earth. You had one.
Absolutely. So your social medias, you have officialstephenpearcy.com. You've got your Facebook page. What else is out there? Do you have your Twitter or Instagram?
Yeah, we got the Zitter. We don't have the MySpaces. We have the Zitter, the Twitter, and the Facebook, and I don't know what we got. We got them all out there. The main one is the official StephenPearcy.com. Yep. That'll take you anywhere you want to go on the earth.
Perfect. Yeah, and when we do get close to that next solo album release, we're definitely getting you and Eric on the Zoom to come on and play a song. That would be phenomenal.
Oh, you guys. I'll tell you what, I promise you, just to do it, just because we can do it and people are afraid to do it. Look, dude, I know people are afraid to just fucking jam. It's like, man, good luck. You know, it's like, we'll play it too. We'll play a couple songs for you. No problem. Set it up. Tell
Beautiful.
Everybody.
We'll do.
2 songs being played live coming at you.
Way earlier in this interview, you mentioned that you're doing a cover tune. Now, you don't have to, you don't have to break the ice or not.
I'm not going to tell you.
All right. I have to tell you, my cousin is a huge, huge fan of yours, and he wanted me to tell you, if I could, and this is a good time for it, that your cover of "You Got Another Thing Coming" by Judas Priest was amazing. He saw it at the Chance at Poughkeepsie, and he said it was the best version of the song he's ever heard, and that it was completely awesome, and he just wanted you to know that.
Well, tell him thank you. It's fucking appreciate it, man, because I like doing that. Look, I'm still a fan, man. I believe it or not, you know, I love playing every now in my set. I'll throw a Zepp in there, a Priest or a Sabbath or a David Bowie. It's all that's how we move around here. So tell them thanks, man. And yeah, the song that we're doing, there's actually a story behind it. And I call it Payback. That goes back into the 80s, dude. It's so funny, but the fact that I can just bring something up to Eric and I'll go, no problem. Next thing I know, I get this song. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This is insane.
Awesome.
You know, so I go in the studio right away and unleash. I mean, that's how we work. We don't sit around and waste time. It's like, fuck, that's great. But I've done Send Me an Angel. I've covered the weirdest songs. You know, I love weird songs.
Send Me an Angel. I'd like to hear that. That I love that song.
It's out me. Send Me an Angel. I've done other ones. I mean, I've done Toys in the Attic. Ain't Talking About Love on a classic. These people, they put out these records with special guest singers and guitar guys noodling all over and covering these songs. I've done a few of those. I did a Rod Stewart. Besides RATT, doing that on Unplugged, I did a cover of a Rod Stewart song. So it's fine, man. But the one I'm doing now actually has a story, and that's why it's on Backstage Past.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, it's Sunday, and
we don't want to tie you up too much
for
longer.
the whole rest of the day, but we definitely want to thank you for taking the time and coming on with us, and looking forward to having you and Eric on and rocking out live.
Oh, and my son
appreciate it.
And my son he's 12. He had one question for you, and it was, how do you get such hot girlfriends all the time? I told him you got to be a singer. Pal. You got to be a performer.
No, it ain't the cash, ain't the stash, pal.
Well, Stephen, again, brother, thanks for coming on, man. We look forward to hooking up again in the near future, and we will definitely be in touch.
Yeah, you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Rock and roll.
Thanks, pal. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Was that an awesome interview or what?
Dude, that was wild. He definitely, I would say let the guard down, because he's always been always a straightforward guy in every interview, but he was just chilling and we were riffing, and that was awesome.
But like when we were with Eric, same thing. He hit our vibe.
Yep, absolutely.
Like he's just one of us. Yep. It was like we were just bullshitting, sitting here hanging out.
Yep. And again, it's cool to see that you have a star of the magnitude of Stephen Pearcy, who is such a forward thinker. And listen, 64 doesn't matter. He's not slowing down anytime soon. No,
and you heard in that interview where he was talking about, hey, in racing back in the day, you just had to make it happen.
And I was thinking,
and COVID is kind of like when shit would hit the fan in racing back in the day. You got to figure out a way to circumvent the issue in front of you and go forward and get faster or whatever.
Yep.
So it's funny how his parallel worlds really
do touch, man.
They do touch.
And it was funny when he was saying about, well, you can't just go and get another big block out of the trailer. Back then, you fixed what you had.
Right, you fixed what you had. And in this world right now, you can't just book another date because there's no other date to book because everything's closed down. So how awesome is that we know we're going to have a future episode as well?
Yeah, that's going to be cool. We definitely got to get our Zoom up and running so we can have them on and we can see each other and converse, and they're going to play some tunes. So that's going to be epic.
Yeah, that's gonna be really cool. What a fun, enlightening. Again, we pull stuff out that's not been heard before.
Yeah.
So this was a really good get to have. I'd really like to hear that Send Me an Angel. There's, because I saw your eyes go up when, some of the songs he was saying, you don't think about it. But then to think that he was on tour with REM and then Madonna and then, you know what I mean?
And playing Rod Stewart
but that's how the 80s were. Yeah. Rock and wrestling, you know what I mean? You had a little bit of everything.
And it's funny because people want to say, hair metal or rock or pop or whatever. The 80s, it's the 80s.
Right.
It's everything that took place in that era that's never going to be the same.
Right. And that's what's great about this Backstage Past.
Yeah.
You're bringing people in, different things like, hey, this is the perfect time.
Yeah.
We were kids in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's the stuff we listened to. Now we're trying to tell our kids, listen, this is what we were. It was a fucking free for all back then.
And he's happy to talk about it.
And he is, yeah. And I like the fact that his next book isn't the sex, drugs, and rock and roll and rat and roll. Hey, there's a lot more layers than just partying. Everybody's heard the party side.
Yeah.
Let's hear the on the road when we were whatever the draw was, or in the studio, or these other things that happen.
And it's funny because if you pick up a biography, and that's kind of what, if I'm reading a book, it's usually along that way. Using sports, for example, say like a guy like Michael Jordan. you can read your book and read about all the games and college and blah, blah, blah. But it's the stuff that takes place inside his head. That's the interesting stuff. And listening to Stephen talk about his interactions with the band, or what his focus is moving forward, that's the interesting stuff to me.
Yeah, well, Michael Jordan's 10-part documentary,
Yeah.
You got more out of that than you did out of the 30 years of watching him play basketball. Right?
Absolutely.
And see, he's a forward thinker, like you said, with that new, what's the TV? You know it.
A Cameo.
No, not a Cameo, the TV thing.
Oh, ASY TV.
ASY TV.
Yeah.
With his new show on there, that's his forward thinking. Hey, you know, and I had that Headbangers Ball question written down, and my actual question was, do you think there's a new Headbangers Ball? And they kind of combined, because that's the new Headbangers Ball. He's bringing you in unplugged, behind the scenes, backstage past.
And today, that's
the new version to
Yes.
push his. And my other question, which he pretty much answered, I didn't ask it, was, how does the hard rock genre regain traction? And I think he answered it.
he did.
He answered
did
it
by
with
saying
that,
with with new ways of presenting it.
Right.
And again, Backstage Past is going to be one of those new ways.
Dude, I checked off everything, and we did what we came here to do.
And then some.
We came here our plan coming in was, hey, listen, 2020 and forward. Most interviews, they ask the questions that have been asked 100 times,
Exactly.
100,000 times.
We wanted to be a little bit different
hey,
with
what's new? What do you like? Your dog, your cat, your girlfriend's
Yep.
taking pictures. You're collaborating with Eric. You know what's new? What's next?
Yeah.
You know, and all his venues came out today, which was awesome.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good
Man,
stuff.
I am pumped. That was a great interview. What a cool dude.
Yep.
And I can't wait to have the two of them on,
That's going to be fun.
because Eric's going to have a couple stories there.
Definitely. And Steven, listen, he's not shy about
No,
it.
he's not. He's not
So,
shy about it.
she's naked in the backyard. So what?
So what? She don't care. Just mow the lawn. And meanwhile, Eric's tearing down the wall.
Oh my God, terrible.
All right, take us home, buddy.
Yeah, man. For G-Mac and Winnie and Stephen Pearcy, Rat and Roll, guys. This has been the Outlaw Blitz podcast. Interviews. Take it deep. This has been a 24 Cross Media production.